Hey guys, so I'm back to review episode 3 of The Pit, and I wanted to make this video a little bit more like candid or in the moment. Like, I didn't write a script for this, just because of like the stuff that's been happening recently. I mean, it's been going on, all of this ICE stuff, but just because of like just how insane. I think it happened today. Today's the Saturday, the 24th. Wait a minute. Anyway, so I'm gonna be like just going through it with you and giving you my thoughts. I obviously already watched it, and then I'm also going to add in my voice notes that I took when I watched the episode the first time, because I just made specific notes about stuff I noticed in the episode. I mean, I saw this morning. I spent the whole day getting my hair done, which none of you care about because I don't even show my face on this account. But if you want to go to my second channel, you can see my face. But yeah, this morning I saw that, and I think honestly that I've gotten so desensitized to all of this ICE news, as probably you watching this have too. And it's like every time I see it, it's like with the 5-year-old kid or the 2-year-old girl, it's like you're like, what the fuck, right? Like, that's the response. You're like, what the hell? But, and obviously the woman who passed away, I don't remember her name. It makes you angry, right? But at the same time, when I was seeing more of the stuff about Alex Preddy, it started to make me like emotional. I was like almost gonna like start crying. Wait a minute. It connects to this the third episode, and also the people, the actors who are a part of this show are advocates against ICE and all of this stuff. Also, this episode. Okay, so first of all, I just want to get something out of the way. I had a classmate of mine yesterday, right? Because yesterday was Friday. And we were talking about the show, right? Because we're all watching it. And she was like, honestly, this season is kind of boring. And I think I like season 1 better. And I think a lot of people would agree with her opinion on The Pit. Like, I'm not saying that I agree with it. I don't think that season 1 is better. I think it's just that a lot of people, when The Pit sort of had, like, people were watching it when it came out weekly, but then it had a huge resurgence. I think because of Twitter. And then a ton of people started watching it because they were seeing, like, Huckle Robbie the ship. And they were seeing that on Twitter, and I think somehow they thought that the show was gay, even though it's, like, not. I mean, it is gay. Right, Santos. But I think people got a little bit misled there, but whatever. Basically, the show had a huge resurgence a couple months ago, which is when I got into the show. And so basically, people were watching it. Honestly, to me, the best way to watch it is to binge watch it, because like each episode is an hour. So when you're waiting a week and there's been 7 days in between each episode, it's sort of like it no longer, you're kind of like expecting, like subconsciously you're like, oh, we should be moving on, like it should be a week later, but it's actually only an hour later. So it's kind of like, with the format of the show, weekly episodes is kind of hard to watch, because part of what made it so intense the first season was that you were able to binge watch it if you watched it after all the episodes had come out. Honestly, The Pit hits hardest and it's the best when you get to just watch it all at once, because then it really feels like you're there with them for a day. But obviously I appreciate the weekly episodes, because I wish that all TV was weekly again. I think that it's healthy to watch an episode a week. You waste less of your time. Binge watching is honestly not healthy. I'm saying that, and I spend at least minimum 2 hours a day watching Mad Men, but regardless. Anyway, so personally, the reason I think people are like, hey, this season is kind of boring, or it feels slower, is because, first of all, we are gearing up. The episode 3, which I'm reviewing today, it ends on sort of, it's not a cliffhanger, but like it ends, like we're about to get into the shutdown or the hacking of the system, right? The code black at the neighboring hospital or whatever. We're about to get into the intense event on the 4th of July. We're about to get into it. Episode 4 and beyond is going to be hitting hard. Abbott and the night team are going to show up last few episodes. Like, everything from now on, pretty much, we can fully assume and agree that everything in next week's episode, next Thursday, it's going to be crazy, okay? Everything is going to be reminiscent of season 1. It's probably going to be even better. But these first 3 episodes, even though, yes, it's a more chill as an ER can be, I appreciate it. I appreciate that we're slowing down. It means we're allowing certain patients that are going through emotional issues or whatever. We're just giving the first 3 episodes sort of just allows the show to breathe before you start hyperventilating. Does that make sense? So in response to people being like, this new season is boring, you've just got to wait for the rest. It's a gradual thing. You know what I mean? It's gradual, but it's still all enjoyable TV. It's still moving the characters forward. We're still telling a story. So that is my opinion on that subject. So the first thing that happens in this, oh my God, you know what I never noticed? My girl Al, I think her name is pronounced Hashimi, like Hashimi. Okay, I really want to say her name correctly. There's a lot of diversity in this show. I want to be respectful. I never noticed, guys, she's got some beautiful highlights in her hair, guys. Who did her hair? Let's talk about that. Because I've noticed a thing about the show where all of the female doctors don't really tend to wear makeup, but all of the nurses do. Not all of them, because Perla and... Oh, no, I forgot her name. No! Her name is... Oh, wow, she's kind of low on the actor list. Oh, Perla and Princess. I'm an idiot. Okay, whatever. I don't know why I did that. I did know her name the whole time. Anyways, they don't wear makeup, but a lot of the nurse... I think that's just a cool detail. I'm sure that's how it is in real life. Like, being a nurse is obviously still, especially in the ER, is still a high-intensity job no matter what. But the nurses wear makeup and the female doctors don't. Dana. I love Dana taking Emma. Is her name Emma? The mixed girl. Okay, the mixed gal, island gal. The girl under her wing, teaching her compassion towards the homeless man, them just showing him some love, and offering him help, and then he accepts it. It's really beautiful to see. Now we're getting into the prominent sort of plot. Well, not prominent plot, but one of the best parts of this episode is that we are foreshadowing the stuff about the patient. The black kid, he looked kind of black. The one who's having sort of a episode, I don't want to call it like like a schizophrenic thing. It kind of looks more like it's a bipolar disorder episode, some kind of thing. But what I have learned, and I'm learning all of these details actually not from my own observation, but I'm learning them from either the Pitt Out of Context Instagram account, but also this other Instagram account. I think it's called like the Pitt Details. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. But they noticed that the numbers he keeps yelling are like these like specific laws in the Constitution. So from that we can infer, and I'm sure we will learn more about this in episode 4. Also, once again, Miss Al and Dr. I don't know why I just denoted her from Doctor to Miss. I'll call them both Miss and Mr. to make it even. Miss Al and Mr. Robbie are already disagreeing again. They disagree on like every single procedure, I swear. 2710. It was 2710. Oh my gosh. Why am I always correct and then have you guys ever been in like a high school class or a college class or like at your job and you know that something is like a fact or true, but then everyone around you is disagreeing with you and telling you that you're wrong, so you just assume that you're wrong, and then you end up being right the whole time and you just end up getting mad at everyone? Okay, anyways. So it is a U.S. code that he keeps yelling out. He yells out, I think, like 2 or 3 separate U.S. codes. He had this sort of episode because I think whatever happened to him, whatever someone did to him, it triggered this sort of mental episode that he's having right now. So Langdon is still acting sort of like a wuss. It's actually so weird to see him not be his confident self. It is so creepy. Also, the deaf girl that I mentioned in my first video, she's finally getting acknowledged. And they got an interpreter for her, so that was really nice. I don't know this woman's name, but the woman who is the desk person who literally signs everyone into the ER, she's excellent at her job. So let's just continue on. Also, can we talk about how cute Emma is? She's honestly like a mini Dana. So essentially, the kid I was talking about earlier, this security guard that freaking tasered him is such a freaking racist. He's giving MAGA energy. And he's just a Karen. And he's also basically is implied getting arrested because he assumed, which this is what I mean when I say he's a racist. This security guard at the college campus, he assumed that this poor kid who clearly had some type of mental episode, he assumed that he was on drugs, and that's why he started having an episode, when in reality he had 0 drugs in his system. So they treat the poor college boy, they take the taser things out of his back. Honestly, just disturbing that you would taser I know college students aren't children, but I see them as children. It's disturbing to me that you would taser a child. Asian lady, her and her husband got in a car accident. And yeah, actually, this is her first introduction. So this is a new patient for episode 3. So the Asian couple, they got into a car accident. It's so cute. Basically, the husband is more obviously injured because he passes out and then he gets paralyzed, but temporarily paralyzed. And the wife is so worried and she's so mobile that they don't even notice until halfway into the episode that she actually has internal injuries too. And so they end up having to treat her, and it's kind of scary. And then the husband has Dana record a video for his wife who's in surgery, which was so sweet. And then actually I'm going to come back to them because as I'm watching, I notice my girl Joy has a spotlight moment. So basically this guy comes in who, I don't know, I don't know why he got injured, but he comes in there. Sometimes patients come into the ER and there's nothing they can do. They're like already dead. Sorry, that was really morbid, but you know. So this man unfortunately has just passed away, and Joy instantly remembers what little Pitt taught her, aka Dennis Whitaker. And she goes, wait, aren't we supposed to do a moment of reflection / silence? And then Robbie goes like, basically like, we don't have time for that. Ooh, also about this guy, actually, I just realized he got into a motorcycle accident and that's how he died. And then they go, no helmet? And they're like, yeah, no helmet. And then someone says, oh, Robbie, don't you ride a motorcycle? And then Robbie goes, oh, but I always wear my helmet. And I'm not going to talk about why Robbie's didn't wear the helmet in the introduction of this season, because guys, like, everyone has already talked about that to death, about the helmet thing. We get it. Like, Robbie's not wearing a helmet because he doesn't really value his life and he's still mentally ill. He's just suppressing it. And he clearly never took Abbott's note and he never went to therapy. Okay, that much is obvious. I'm not going to talk about the helmet. But I just think it's funny. I think, okay, it's one thing for him to just not wear the helmet when no one is like watching him and he's just on his own, like driving his motorcycle. But it's a completely other thing to just straight up lie to a room of doctors and nurses and be like, oh, but I always wear my helmet. So now you're not only lying to yourself, but you're also lying to other people. You know what I mean? Like, him not wearing the helmet, that is what it is. Okay, that is what it is, right? Sometimes when I sit in the back of a car and I want to lie down, I don't wear a seatbelt, okay? I shouldn't have admitted that. But I didn't say that. You can't prove anything, okay? So that's not really what I'm focused on, the fact that he didn't wear the helmet. I'm more like, geez, you're going to just lie to everyone and just, I don't know. He's standing 10 toes down on the fact that he wears a helmet, even though he clearly doesn't. I'm like, okay, that's like kind of like unhinged behavior, but okay. So then Joy, like I said, she is like, wait, aren't we supposed to do a moment of reflection? And, sorry, I'm like stalling. And then Robbie says he'll still be dead when we get back, which sounds horrible when I repeat it, but he said it innocently. And I'm like, oh, like, Joy is already, this is what I mean. Like, people are hating on not specific. People are hating on the women in the pit. People hated on Santos. I was a Garcia hater, and I still stand 10 toes down on Garcia. Well, actually, Garcia hasn't really done anything this season for me to hate her, but I did kind of dislike her last season because I thought that she was a little bit unfair to Santos, which is hilarious because now they're hooking up. I personally never wanted Garcia for Santos. I wanted her with any other female, but whatever. It is what it is, you know? So, people, the Pitt fandom, general public, they hated on Santos hard. Some people still hate Santos, which is crazy to me. If you still hate Santos, you just have no media literacy. You're not even watching the show actively. Like, your brain must be turned off. You must have TikTok and Instagram Reels open, because what do you mean you still hate Santos, okay? There's no reason for you to hate Santos. The reason that she jokes around and sounds really cocky sometimes is because she's just... like, it's her armor. You know what I mean? Like, it's so ridiculous to me that people hate Santos, but they will watch 7 seasons of House MD or Mad Men, and they will defend Don Draper and Gregory House to the end of days, till the end of the earth. They will defend those horrible men and say, oh, like, he's just like, you know, a little bit egotistical because, you know, he's so talented. Santos is talented too. If Santos were a guy, no one would have been hating on her. I'm so serious. This is so sexist. So people hated on Santos, and they still are, apparently. Although I feel like most people like Santos. People were hating on Joy. People are hating on Joy, calling her apathetic, and that she is unempathetic and unsympathetic, and that she doesn't care about anyone. I mean, come on. She's probably here for 4 weeks. Like, and she's only been here for 2 hours. Why are you judging a whole character based on, like, 2 episodes? You've only known this girl for 2 hours. You don't know anything about her character. You don't know anything about what's going on in her life, right? Like, let's say that Whitaker was a horrible person, right? And then we find out he's homeless in the finale. You know, you don't know what's going on with these characters because we spend so little time with them. That's what's so unique to the show. We learn about these characters. It's going to take like 20 seasons for us to fully learn about a character, because we didn't even know that Whitaker was homeless and that he was experiencing, you know, such a difficult thing at such a young age. We didn't know any of that. So you can't judge these characters on 2 hours with them. It's just ridiculous. So Joy is clearly already absorbing what she's witnessing in this ER. She's probably doesn't want to be an ER doctor, you know what I mean? But I don't think that she's been mean to any patients, right? She's just not, you know, she's just not a woman who's like, you know, all like teddy bear. Like, she's not a sappy person, and that's fine. You need different personalities. You know, with her, I don't even want to say she has a hard exterior. She seems honestly like very chill. She's just more nonchalant. She's just people are used to women being like Callie from Grey's Anatomy, which that's kind of a bad example because not everyone's going to know who Callie from Grey's Anatomy is. But people want female characters and women in real life to be like dolls. They want them to be like, oh, hey, like, and they want them to be sweet and gentle like a little girl. It's like, you know, not everyone's going to be like that, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Joy is a great asset. You know, she's not going to crumble and break and start crying, and she's not like a Lizzie. Wait, her name is not Lizzie. Izzy. She's not like an Izzy from Grey's Anatomy. She's not going to, you know, start, you know, falling in love with her patients and crying every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So anyways, so people were hating on Santos. People were hating on Joy. People were hating on, okay, anyone who's hating on Ogilvy, I am fully behind you, but also I don't hate him. I don't hate anyone, okay? I just don't. But anyways, like I said, there was a huge issue with the Pitt fandom with being sexist. I don't know why so many people in the fandom have horrible takes and horrible interpretations of this show. It is a progressive show. That's the best way for me to describe this show. It's just saying, like, the fact that people in this fandom have such shitty takes is, like, appalling to me. But anyways, we're gonna move on. This creepy old man, actually I don't want to call him creepy. He's just like a, you know, normal old man. This old man keeps hitting on McKay, which is weird. And then this black dude keeps hitting on McKay. And I personally do think McKay is really hot, but it's kind of insane to me that everyone's hitting on her. I mean, she's just like, she is just attracting men left and right. You know, she's just a male magnet. Did talk about the Jewish woman in my voice note, but now that I have learned that her story is a true story, I really have to talk about this. Okay, let me figure out her name so I can reference her. Oh my gosh. Okay, one of the scenes between Al and Robbie was so buzzy. And if you don't know what buzzy means, because it's like kind of a Twitter term, buzzy is like, it's like kind of sexy. That's like kind of what buzzy means. Buzzy is like, ooh, like flirtatious. Like, oh, that was so buzzy.
You're free to see other people, Dr. Rabinovich. I'm looking for cooperation, not commitment.
So I feel like even though people were kind of acting as if Al and Robbie are like enemies, and I know my first video was about how different they are and how she's sort of like his opposite, but when I called her his opposition,
I didn't really mean it like that. I just meant she's his foil. And if you took like honors English class in high school, a foil is like the opposite. So it's like that's not his name, Benvolio and Mercutio, I think are their names. Benvolio? That is definitely not his name. Whatever. The two guys in Romeo and Juliet, a foil is just a character that's completely opposite another protagonist. So it doesn't mean an antagonist or a villain. I was never trying to say that she's like Robbie's villain or anything. I was just trying to say she is his foil, and the purpose of a foil is to challenge the protagonist, to make them question sort of what's the storyline and stuff and their choices, because they're so different from them. But anyways, I feel like honestly by episode 3, this recent episode, it's not that they're on the same page. They're definitely going to continue to butt heads. Every time they have a patient, they disagree on the procedure or the treatment option every time. But I just feel like outside of medically, they are like getting along better. I feel like at first, he's starting to warm up to her, and he's starting to get a little more comfortable. Robbie is who I'm talking about. And honestly, they're being really nice to each other. Like, I feel like he does like her. I know that they're going to have disagreements later on down the line, and things are going to get so intense when they have to go analog, right? It has to be like the 90s again, and they're going to have no computers or access to anything, and it's going to get freaking hot and sticky and stuff. So I know there's going to be issues, and it's going to get really crazy, but I just feel like Al and Rob, so let me give them a ship name. And I'm not talking about romantic, okay? I'm not going to advocate for that, even though I do think they're kind of buzzy, to use that word again. Ship name would be, like, when I say ship, I mean, like, their character combo. I would probably call them, you could call them Abby, actually. Al and Robbie, Abby. Abby is such a cute, combo name for them. Combo is, like, something I just made up in this moment. Combo name is, like, ship, but platonic ship. So their platonic ship name, aka combo name, is Abby. So Abby, honestly, they're getting along so well now, and I really like them together. They're just so, like, it's just, like, it's cute. You know, it's nice to see someone who is equivalent to Robbie medically, who's not another man, who's not Abbott. It's just nice to see a woman who is equivalent to him, because Robbie is, like, he's not old. Obviously, I would never call Noah Wyle old, but he is a veteran. You know what I mean? He is a veteran in this hospital. You know what I mean? He's kind of like the old head. He's the unk status. And it's nice to see Auntie there, too. Obviously, Al is much younger than him, but it's nice to see Unk and sort of mini Auntie becoming family. And we're really a Pitt family over here. Okay, so basically, okay, I was supposed to be figuring out this woman's name, the Jewish woman. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to Google it and stop being a lazy slob.
So Miss Kovalenko, she is a Jewish woman. No shit. I don't know why I just said that. Robbie, very gently, may I add, broaches the topic. He's like, so you did this? And she's like, yeah. And then she starts going into how she was in a shooting. And when I saw this scene, and I talk about it in the voice note, how special this scene was. Definitely a highlight. The highlight to me of the episode, and a highlight probably, hopefully, of the whole season. But I had no idea that this was a real shooting in Pittsburgh in 2018. So it was at the Tree of Life Synagogue, right, in Pittsburgh. 11 people passed away. And it was a mostly elderly group of people in this synagogue. And 8 people got injured. So really, really heartbreaking. But I just think it is just so good from a TV show. Not good, but impressive from a TV show standpoint that they infused a real life event. And it really did happen that the Muslim community in Pittsburgh, in the Pennsylvania area, came to the rescue and showed the Jewish community love, and raised money for them to pay for the funerals and all of these things. It's just, it's incredibly heartbreaking. It's not surprising. There has been so many shootings in America. But it's just so impressive to me that they decided to incorporate that, and it was in such a seamless way. I wouldn't have even known that this really happened. It was so seamless. It connected so well to the first season because of the mass casualty incident. And something that Robbie and now everyone on the Pitt crew, who was there last season, experienced and all can relate to, including Perla, who she thanks because Perla is Muslim. And I'm so impressed by it. Also, can we give it up for Santos's hairstyle in this season? She looks so cute in the blue long sleeve underneath her scrub top. Also, the father of the little white girl.
The father is still an asshole. I don't care that he's not a child abuser. He is still borderline emotionally abusive. Like, why is he straight up yelling at his girlfriend and calling her a bitch and stuff? Actually, I don't even know if he did that, but whatever. Why is he yelling at his girlfriend in public, who literally took his daughter to the ER and was just trying to take care of her and is, like, acting freaking crazy? Like, I know that he's not a child abuser, but he is still not a healthy person. I don't know what's going on. Also, I love this social worker who is standing in for our girl Kiara. Obviously, I miss my black queen Kiara with the locks, but I still like this guy. He's chill, he's vibe. Also, can someone do Mel's hair? Can someone take Mel to the Renaissance Fair? Can someone buy her ice cream and give her a blowout or something and give her full beat makeup? Because what's going on, fam? What is up with this single braid? Sister couldn't have done... You know, Mel would be so cute with a high pony. It's still a very low effort hairstyle, but the high pony would be so cute. Soar, I think that's about it. Ogilvy was pretty mild in this episode. He wasn't that annoying. Him and Javadi are still kind of competing, which is annoying. Also, Langdon treats this little kid. Once again, more black people. I always appreciate... Maybe there's a lot of black people in Pittsburgh. I don't know. Actually applied to the school there, to Pitt, which I'm obviously getting into, manifesting. And if you're wondering, obviously I applied to the school because of this show. Why else? That's just how I am. I'm just a silly goose like that. Okay, so we have all these beautiful fathers in the scene taking out beads from this little kid's nose, which hits close to home because my brother did the same thing. He took my beads when I was little and he stuck them up his nose, and we actually had to take him to the ER, so I just thought that was funny. I think this is just a thing that little brothers do. But anyways, the point is not that Langdon took the beads out of this kid's nose. The point is that he starts reciting some fatherhood poem that he read. Like, this man really went through a lot after rehab. Like, he didn't just go to rehab. He had a whole spiritual revolution, okay? He was on some eat, pray, love shit. And clearly, okay, I actually never was that addicted to Langdon's personality. A lot of people loved him. I definitely liked his character, especially after the whole drug plot that made him 10 times more interesting. For personal reasons. Okay, I'm not going to say that. Never mind. I don't want to say that online. Anyways, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, I kind of wish he was more confident. It's like, I feel like he needs to find a good balance between having self-confidence and having a higher self-esteem and not being as egotistical as he was before, because I think he was kind of crazy before. Like, I mean, they implied it so heavily with the way he was treating his wife, like just buying a dog and not even thinking about the fact that now she has to take care of like 3 kids and a dog while he's over here being a resident, which is a high-intensity job where he's like gone a lot. So, he was not, totally really emotionally aware before, when he had all the confidence, but now he's just gone on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like, this is not a Langdon that we're used to. Obviously, having to go to rehab and not having his, job, which, if you're a doctor, like, you feel, hopefully doctors, feel great about being doctors. And not in the sense that, like, their job, like, obviously the job is hard every single day, but I'm just saying, like, that should give you an ego boost being a doctor because you worked really, really hard to get there. Like, that's impressive. Everyone is impressed with doctors. I mean, come on. They save lives, right? Duh. And you have to go to medical school for like 200 years. So, but now Langdon is acting like Whitaker, guys. I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, bro's acting like he don't even know what's happening. Anyways, okay, so that's about it. I'm going to get into the voice notes and you can go ahead and listen to that.
Hey fam, so it is me, and it's currently 1:42 a.m. and the show comes out at 7 p.m. because I live in California. but I have quizzes. I got all that homework, schwomework. So I kind of got a little bit caught up watching Mad Men, and I forgot about the Pit. So I'm watching it now, but like I'm only like halfway through the episode. And guess what? We were freaking right about that little girl Kylie, who I'm telling you, that actress looks like the little girl from the first season, but I guess she's not supposed to be the same girl. I really don't know. But apparently, I mean, I haven't finished the scene, but Kylie probably has immune thrombocytopenia. Yeah, immune thrombocytopenia, which is ITP. And I did not click on the Gemini AI. I'm reading the official one from Mayo Clinic, okay? It says immune thrombocytopenia is an
illness that can lead to bruising and bleeding. Low levels of the cells that help blood clot, also known as platelets, most often cause the bleeding. So, yeah, we were right. She's not being abused. This was a classic bait and switch. Honestly, it would have been kind of basic if she was just being abused, not to offend. Okay, I'm sorry, that sounded really offensive and insensitive. But yeah, we were right. So yeah, Santos, basically what the importance of this scene, because I personally don't care about the medical stuff, no offense. I don't watch medical shows for the medical stuff. I mean, it's always cool, but I mainly watch it for like, the character studies. Basically, we're now understanding that Santos is sort of jumping to conclusions way too fast when it comes to any kind of patients that may be being abused, because she's letting her own life experiences sort of influence her discernment way too much. So that could sort of become an issue later on in her career, or sort of in the beginning of her career right now. She needs to have better discernment, not allow her own personal struggles to influence her decision making and view of her patients this much. And so she needs to sort of just have a better filter of what's going on and just look at things basically more objectively, and stop being so subjective. So yeah, but I mean, it could have been abuse, and she could have been right. So, she's just looking out for the patients, but she was coming on a little bit too strong with this case.
Okay, I'm making another note as I'm still watching the episode. It's now 1:50 a.m. Yeah, you knew my ass wasn't going to bed. So I just watched the scene between Robbie and Miss, yeah, I don't remember her name, but whatever, the Jewish woman. And oh my gosh, so beautiful. It might even become like my favorite scene of the whole season. Like, Robbie, even though he wasn't at Pitt Fest, like having to treat all of those patients and everything, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I kind of want to call it the same thing. It's like almost on the same level of trauma, basically. I mean, I don't know. I can't really like determine that, but it's a huge trauma, so he gets it, okay, how traumatizing shootings are, and it's just so special. I mean, first of all, he was already just being so gentle. I mean, I don't know, I mean, people like, I mean, okay, I can't really say this, like, speak for the general public's perception of Robbie. I think the general public loves Robbie. Everyone loves Robbie, but like people on Twitter specifically want to like condemn him for like calling him a misogynist last season because of the way like he treated like Collins and Mohan and all these like women or whatever, like I guess kind of underestimating them or whatever. But like honestly, I have seen him be very compassionate and gentle with every single patient. So like I mean, whatever. But I feel like a part of him kind of like just like sees a little bit of, like every time he sees a Jewish woman, sees a little bit of his grandmother. And I don't know, just the way he's looking at her. It's probably just Noah Wyle. It's just Noah Wyle. But it was just very beautiful. And I appreciate that we're slowing down a little bit before everything ramps up. Because right now the show feels kind of quiet. Maybe that's just because I'm very like desensitized to like the injuries, like the what is it called? SFX or whatever. But yeah, I just, that scene was really great. So yeah. Okay, fam, we're in this boat together. We're in the pit together always. It is 2:14 a.m. on a school night, but it's Friday tomorrow, baby. Okay, so I'm like almost done with the episode, but I just saw guest star the girl from Suits. I don't remember her name, but anyways.
So she's the ex-wife of the dude who has the tumor. And she just found out that when she was divorcing him, probably the reason why his whole personality changed and she chose to divorce him is because of the tumor. As you guys may or may not know, tumors can do a lot of things. They can give you hallucinations. They can completely change your mood, give you mood swings, all of these things. Obviously, they can lead to cancer or be benign or whatever, But this just goes to show that it proves my point, which is in an upcoming video on my other channel, The Thought Bunny. Okay, shout out my other channel, where I'm talking about marriage and love and all of this stuff. And it just goes to show everybody freaking loves, like whenever they get married, they love everybody the same, okay? But they just end up with the person who they're most compatible with. She's like, holy crap, bro, if I had known he had a tumor, then I wouldn't have divorced the man. I would have just taken him to the doctor. Because now she's stuck with husband number 2. And she could have just been with husband number 1, who she loved very much so. So that's just life lesson, okay? So if your husband, doesn't change gradually, but he just changes all of a sudden, maybe take him to the doctor. This is like a, whatever note. But the end of, I just finished episode 3. The ending, even though it is technically sort of a little bit of the cliffhanger, not cliffhanger, but it's like, basically the mic drop of what's going to happen in the rest of the season, right? The hacking and all of this stuff. It ended with some like cutesy like folk music, and I was like, this is the first episode where they didn't just end it sort of all dramatic, all dramatos, right? Oscar bait type of endings, And I was like, okay, cute. Like they're kind of doing this calm before the storm, and then Ahmad starts taking the magnets off. He's like, oh, we're gonna do the bet grid again. Like we're gonna do the betting board. I'm like, oh, it's like call back to season 1. They're trying to make connections between season 1 and 2 because it is a big time jump. It's almost a year, and a lot of these characters are acting very different to how we got used to them and how they were characterized, which is completely different to other shows because even though every like long-form TV show, you always get like character development throughout the seasons. Usually, when you're thinking of Mad Men, House MD is a great example. House really doesn't start changing until like season 6, if we're being honest. Like the change is gradual, which is how life is typically, especially if you're an adult. You change kind of gradually. But with this show, obviously people's personalities aren't changing, but just because career-wise, because their careers are so tightly wound up in their personalities, like when they move up in their career, they get more of more confidence or whatever. Like Whitaker's changed a lot of people have changed, so it's just nice that they made these connections to season 1, like something as simple as like the betting board, just so that we feel like it's all one plot, like an
what happened this morning was really disturbing, and yeah, I didn't feel like being like, hey, what's up YouTube, let's get into the pit. Like it just didn't feel right, so that's why I kind of wanted to just talk to you on a more personal level, off the cuff,
ramble style ramble style, FaceTime style. Okay, so hopefully this felt like a good old FaceTime. I know I kind of talked your ear off. I really apologize. But I will cut out half of this anyways. So come back next week. Comment your thoughts. I want everyone, I'm sorry, that sounded like a threat. If you want to, comment what you thought of episode 3, how you feel about the show, and what you're looking forward to next week. And also, if you want to talk about the political and economic state of the world right now, as Jaden Smith would say, you can go ahead and do that down below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you stay safe and have a lovely day, and I love you.